Hey, right, welcome back to the channel. This week's going to be another one of those sort of just update videos. We've got some rehousing to do. Beetles, we've got some beetles to move into our 30 by 30 by 45 Exoterra because we've started to have a few appear in the plastic tub. Can't keep them in there forever, so we've got 4 beetles now, so we're going to put them in their new enclosure and set that up. Other thing we're going to do, some news on some new additions to the collection that I forgot to mention last week. Sorry about that, Mr. Lewis. And we also have our versicolor, which I said wasn't going to get rehoused yet. Needs to be rehoused. The old enclosure just looks a mess, so I want to upgrade it and put it into our new altered mantis stem one. Hopefully that will go nice and smoothly. Versicolors have a tendency to like to wander, so we'll see how that one goes. But yeah, let's go to the video. So for the sun beetles, we have this sick 45 by 30 by 30, and what we're going to do is we're housing these little monsters. Don't know if you're able to see. We have the sun beetles, Pachnoda, marginata, perigona, I think they're called. But we've got, as you saw in the last video, a few cocoons in here, and now we have 4 beetles. So it's time to give them a nice big house where they can climb up and stuff. The idea is going to be to have this exo filled, sloping up with substrate here, followed by a nice bit of, you have to ignore the dogs, filled with a nice bit of cork bark across here to build a barrier to be able to put quite high substrate at the back, so we can sort of graduate it, and then possibly have like a piece for them to climb on somewhere up like this. Maybe use 1 or 2 of these Maytree pods, and maybe a couple other branches like this in there. Right, let's get the substrate in. So far this is just a mix of peat moss, Irish peat moss, and then you've got decayed wood, which is this stuff from the spider shop. Decayed wood. We've got decayed leaf in here. What decayed wood is so that it's food for the grubs. But we mix all this up, give them a nice mix of this. Actually reminds me of the stuff it smells the same as when I was on the farm. I used to live on a farm. Yeah, that wood's got a bit of a stank to it. Alright, got to get some more and mix all this in. Go for a nice big bank up the back. So we'll get some more in there and we'll carry on. Okay, so substrate's in. Nice load of decayed wood, decayed leaf, peat moss, a bit of cocoa fibre, all mixed in here. Hopefully it'll be nutritious enough. What I'm going to do is give it a bit of a spritz with some water to damp it down a little bit, because it is a little bit dry. It's not super dry, but squeezing it, it's just, yeah, it's just not quite the consistency I'd want it yet. But I've just cut this piece of cork bark to length. This is going to effectively go in, like I said, sort of like a barrier here. I'll put all the cocoons, bury them at the front, sort of in here, so that I can keep this part a little bit more moist. And I'll let the grubs go in and just let them find their own place. And then what we'll do is we'll have this piece of cork bark, I don't know, something like at the back, like up here for them to climb. And maybe use this branch as sort of like an overhang to give them something to come out and walk upon and things like that. We'll see. Okay, this is going to take me a while, so I want to get this done and we'll just start recording again once it's finished. And we're done. We are lacking, well, focus for starters. No, we're lacking some greenery, but I will put something in. Every bit of plant we put in here just looked rubbish, so we've got some nice places for them to climb, some nice places for them to wander around. Got this piece of cork bark here, which is sort of like in the middle, giving a nice sort of step up for the enclosure. If I show you here, let's move this other enclosure out of the way, you can see that there's a sort of significant, well, can you see that? Yeah, you can see that. There's a sort of significant step from here up to, excellent, to here, quite a jump. So hopefully this sort of looks okay. There's quite a lot of substrate in there. We've moistened it down. Now we've just got to get some of the little beetle boys in there. These, while we're looking at these, this dude here, as you can see, this little line at the top of my finger, that's the epigastral furrow. Only the males have those. So this dude here on his back, hey, 5 out of 10 for dismount. That one is a male. So we'll move him in first. And there we have 1, 2, 3, 4 of the beetles. And it looks really funny when you look at the size of the enclosure compared to the 4 beetles that are in there. But I want to give them a nice big environment to sort of like roam around in. And yeah, I think it looks pretty good. I've left the way here, let's zoom out on that. I've left the grubs and the cocoons. We've got about 8 cocoons in there. Left them in there, not just on top of the enclosure, just because it's got all the poop and stuff in there, and a bit more moisture, and I know they're hatching in there okay, so we'll leave them in there for now. And now we're done. This looks much better. The finished product. Yeah, they'll like that. So we got these 2 little dudes a couple of weeks ago. They are some more OBTs, which I was kindly gifted by a mate, Mr. Lewis, who had a successful breeding. These are absolutely lovely little slings in such good condition. Really beautiful colours already. If the camera will just let me focus, there we go. But obviously they're tiny little things at the moment. What I will say is he's going through a little bit of a tough time at the moment with his dad. His dad's doing a lot of fundraising because he's terminally ill, and I'll put the link to the fundraiser below if you want to go and check it out. He's been in Kent online a couple of times about his fundraising, about his illness and stuff like that. I'm not doing any of that because of these slings. I think it's worth noting that his dad's going for a tough time, and what his dad's doing to try and help raise awareness for his illness is absolutely unbelievable. Considering when he got ill, he thought it was an insect bite, which turned out to be far worse. But yeah, go and give him a shout out. Go and have a look at his stuff and sort of just give him some support. Remember this little guy? We were like, yeah, doesn't need a rehouse. Oh, size of him now, he's like that big, molted straight after, and it's like, whilst it probably could get away with being in here a little bit longer, it's just looking a mess. It's looking an absolute mess. So I think we're going to put him into his new home, which looks like this now. Nice, simple, but nice home. Yes, I think you're really good. Hopefully, because he's on the top, this could be a nice, simple rehouse, because he's not going to run. Don't even think we're going to need a catch cup for this, he says confidently. Oh, okay, you're going to threat pose me. Why are you doing that? Why would you do that? Right, see if we can get that to just wander up. Oh. No, it's a stick. You follow the stick? Go that way. Go that way. No. Come on. God, it's so inquisitive ones these are. Look at the colours of this. So lovely. No, they do not like leaving their environments. Come on. Come on. There you go. Go on. Massive new home for you. Come on. This way? This way? Guiding every single leg off of the old enclosure. There we go. Look at that. All these people that say Carabiner versicolor just want to wander and are an absolute nightmare to rehouse. Look at that. Beautiful. And when you see the old enclosure, like, look how much space he had left. He had hardly anything. He's got his old malt sticking out in there. But at least we've now got a nice upgrade for him. And I don't think he looks completely lost in that new one either. It's like it's a nice size. So before he goes bolting out, we'll shut this down. Because it's going to come to the front now, isn't it? Now we've sort of said that, it's nice and calm. But what a good rehouse. Beautiful spider. Hopefully enough ventilation and a nice new setup for it, and it'll web up lovely in there and grow nice and big. So it's not due a feed for a few days, so won't be refeeding it just yet. So guys, I hope you enjoyed that. Leave some comments, see what you like about it, what you think about the sun beetle enclosure. I happen to think it's alright. The versicolor went a lot better than expected, nice and smooth. Didn't want to wander, even let me reopen the door and take some footage. It's just stayed on the side of the enclosure. Beautiful, beautiful spider. And yeah, the new additions, the OBTs, the UMVs. I wouldn't say I'm not confident with old worlds, but I think in the back of my mind you've always got that unpredictability of the speed and the potency, but at that size, I mean, they're beautiful spiders and they are really docile. They've let me take the tops off, feed them, take footage of them and stuff like that. They don't seem to worry about it too much. So I think as long as you're calm, as long as you show them respect but you aren't nervous doing anything with those spiders, there's no reason why they should react and jump if you don't. So yeah, leave a comment, leave a like. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. Yeah, hope you enjoyed the video and I'll catch up with you next week. Thank you.